It's really good to be back on the mat again, and I'm delighted to have you here with me. So this is a course in yin and tonic, as I like to call it, and we are going to be working on a course in stimulating the immune system and immune defense through Chinese medicine, and working in a sort of a bottom-up approach where we work on optimizing health in the body to improve the flow of qi and the functioning of the kidneys to keep supplying us with qi. And in 5-element theory, which you may or may not be au fait with, we use the element of metal to nourish and stimulate the kidneys, the element of water. And so what we're going to do is work with a lot of metal poses tonight in order to nourish the kidneys. But we're going to add in some other poses to work with the liver, for example, which helps improve the flow of qi in the body. And just for anyone who is interested, just a few other poses in there as well. I'll explain a little as we go, but I don't want to get too techy. But yeah, I hope you enjoy it, and we're going to prop up. So whatever props you have, use them, anything to hand. Have a strap, belt, something like that handy, some blankets, some blocks, a bolster or some pillows. I'm going to demo poses with and without support for you as we go through. So we're going to start off just by getting into the lungs and the lung meridian and the large intestine, and they are almost inseparable from the upper meridians, the heart and the small intestine as well. So we'll be working pretty much everything. So if you'd like to get a comfortable seat, seated on a folded blanket or pillow, get the hips a little bit higher than the knees, and you can take a cross-legged position like this, okay, or siddhasana, one shin in front of the other, or if you're feeling a little bit flexible, you can take fire log pose, get into the hips a little bit, stacking one shin on top of the other. Okay, and then simply we're going to take our hands behind our backs into reverse Namaste, so hands together behind our backs like so. And then as you get in there, and don't worry if you can't make the connection, just enough to smile, the collarbones open. And if you need a little bit of a helping hand, you can always use your belt just to bridge the gap between the hands there. Just enough to feel like you're smiling these fellas open and bringing the arm bones back a little bit there. So you're encouraging the heels of the hands towards each other if you manage to get that far. And you can actually feel the shoulder blades beginning to lift up off the upper back too. So once you get into a relatively comfortable position, I know that might be a little bit of an overstatement, begin to focus on the breath. So in and out through the nose. And just feel the heart beginning to open and expand as the inner body gets brighter and brighter with the breath. So feel the chest lifting. Good. Feel the belly expanding. And then exhaling, corseting in around the middle, supporting yourself as you sit upright. And again, just finding a smooth and even flow that works for you, and perhaps adding that little constriction to the breath, beginning your ujjayi breath, so just like a whisper. And again, exhale, nice and easy. And just notice the quality of your breath. I know you've just made it to your mat, but see if you can find a smoother quality of breath, and see if you can get a fuller breath in as you relax, softening the skin around your eyes and jaw. Take 2 more here, and we'll just change the crossing of the legs then. And if that hand position is really getting quite uncomfortable, feel free to just clasp the hands behind the back also, and just lift the chest as you do, bringing the arm bones back a little bit more. Okay, and then just change the crossing of the legs. So whatever version you were in, just switch it up. Okay, good. And then taking the hands behind the back into reverse Namaste hands, or even if the clasp is preferable at this point, go ahead and switch it up so the other thumb is on top, the other index finger is on top. Lift the chest, find buoyancy in the heart. So working with the lung and the large intestine meridians in particular here. They're located in the upper body, down along the arms, in the upper and lower parts of the arms. And so these shoulder openers and chest openers are really a great way just to get in there, nice and juicy. And you can really feel the spaciousness then in the chest cavity as you start to open up a little bit more. Just connecting with that sense of buoyancy and joy, and using the breath to give you a little lift. And as you find a little bit more openness there in the chest cavity, you're able to draw in more oxygen, more air, more external chi into the body. So that can really help with the internal processes involved with production of internal chi and eventually defensive chi, where we can ward off bad energy around us and really influence our immune ability. Okay, let's take 2 more breaths here, please. So we're going to take 2 to 3 minute holds tonight, nice and easy, nice and relaxed. And if at any point you need to just shorten that again, go ahead and do so, listening to your body as you move through the practice. So let's just release that out. And the next one we're going to do, we're going to come onto our backs into constructive rest position, but with a really nice back opener, back bend. And we've got 2 options for that. You may have a rolled blanket, and that might be sufficient to roll it up lengthways and place it at the base of the shoulder blades there. I personally prefer to have a bolster because I'm a bit longer in the body and it's quite easy for me to drape myself over it, but I'm still going to need a pillow for my head there. I'm just going to set my timer as we go, and literally just going to drape myself over the bolster, pop the head down so that you've got no crunching into the cervical spine. My knees are bent just to support myself. Take your feet nice and wide when you land, wherever you get to, and just knock your knees together, taking any strain off the psoas area. And then opening up your arms nice and wide, palms facing up towards the sky. Let the arm bones fall back. And again, feel that gorgeous spaciousness in between all of the ribs. Okay, so feel the back of your head on the floor or your pillow, and not the top of the head. I don't want you looking behind you. I want you instead with the chin lowered slightly in towards the chest. So you should feel quite comfortable in this position and just able to enjoy that feeling of spaciousness as you work a little bit more deeply into the heart, into the lungs here. And again, come back into Ujjayi breath. finding a rhythm and pace that suits your body. And just enjoying that feeling of support in the back body there. Feeling the tailbone pressing right down into the ground. So if you need to change it up, or if it's achy in your back at all, take a smaller cushion or a roll underneath your back. Because if you find you're straining or holding in these poses, it can stop you getting the full benefit of the opening. It stops your body relaxing, just to unwind and unfold in these particular ones. And once you get into that position, as you will, faster and faster as we move through the practice, really see if you can bring your focus to your breath. And if you'd like to add a mantra for this particular practice, I quite like the sound of I am healthy, I am strong. There's our 3-minute alarm. So when you're ready, just take your knees apart and then let them fall over to one side. Roll up nice and carefully to sit. Okay, so that should feel pretty nice, particularly if you've been sitting a lot today. And now the next one we're going to come into is deer pose. So we're going to take the bolster lengthways and pop this fella over to the side. And then I'm simply going to sit facing away from the bottom of the bolster and take the knees bent, feet wide apart, and then let the 2 knees fall to, it doesn't matter which side, okay, mine are falling to the left, all right? And then when you get there, make sure that the bottom of the bolster is connected with your body, and simply twist towards, my knees are over towards the left, I'm twisting towards the left to face over the bolster, okay? Everybody is different, so just land wherever you land, okay? And then see if you can lengthen from the outer left hip all the way up into the armpit. Good. And when you get there, you're going to simply walk. I'm going to take a little different version of deer pose. You're going to walk out over the bolster, but you're going to keep your left hand on the inside, okay? And just take it out at right angles to the body with the palm facing up. And then simply take the top arm up and drape it over your head. So now you can feel this big opening down the right side of the body, from the outer hip all the way up to the elbow. This is working the gallbladder meridian here, which in turn stimulates the liver, helping to regulate the flow of qi. So working through each pose, taking time to really appreciate the sensations of the pose and how your body reacts to them. Find comfort here. Come back to your breath. Breathing in, I am healthy. Breathing out, I am strong. And setting the intention like that by utilizing a powerful mantra that's personal to you can really assist with the top-down approach to health, where mind really does have power over matter. Well, that 3 minutes went by astoundingly fast. So when you're ready, just sweep that top arm out in front and gather yourself back up to a seat. And we're simply going to take it over to the second side. So I'm going to just switch over here so I'm still facing you. I don't want to be too rude. And then sitting facing away from the bolster again, I'm just going to let my 2 knees drop over to the right. Turn to look over the bolster, get the twist. And then lift from the outer right hip into the armpit. And when you're ready, you're just going to drape yourself over the bolster, pillow, stack of pillows, whatever you got going. Bottom arm facing upwards, top arm draping overhead. Settle down into it nice and quickly. And if it's too wide for you in the legs here, go ahead and just stack one knee closer to the other, or take a pillow in between your legs, can be quite nice as well. Feel free to move a little bit if you like to spin your chest up towards the sky a little bit more. If that feels good for you, go ahead and do it. I am healthy. I am strong. Just another 5 rounds of breath here, please. And then exhale, just sweep your top arm down in front of you. Bring yourself slowly and carefully up to a seat. Nice and easy. And you can then bring yourself onto your belly. Just push the bolster out of the way. You're going to need it quite soon. Just push out maybe on front of you there. Just going down onto your belly again here. Now, you're going to take Sphinx pose, the old favourite. So what you're going to do is lying on your belly, prop yourself up on your elbows, taking your forearms shoulder distance apart. And then press the palms of the hands down into the floor in front of you. Just walk your feet a few inches apart and press all 10 toenails down towards the ground. Okay. So from there you can tilt the tailbone down towards the back of the mat, towards your feet. Feel the belly pull off the floor and engage slightly. And then draw the chest through the shoulders, gathering the shoulder blades onto the back. Spread the fingers wide. Press into the outer thumbs there, where the lung meridian is. And press the index fingers down into the ground where the large intestine meridian has its line on the top of the index finger. Okay, so nice and strong. Then find your breath. Okay, so if you're happy here, go ahead and stay here. If you'd like to go a little bit more deeply, we can move into seal pose by taking the forearms out at diagonals, and same thing, press into those strong hands of yours and lift the elbows up off the floor. Lift the heart forward, press into your big toes if your low back is pinching a little bit, yeah, and then tailbone moves down towards your heels. Pull the belly in a little bit more, engaging the front of the body to take it out of the back. If this doesn't feel good for you, come back down onto your elbows. We'll just take 5 rounds of breath here. 5 more at least. Okay, gently come down. We're going to take a little dragon segment, a favourite. So have your belt handy, your strap, whatever you're using, and we're going to bring the bolster back into play, make it a slightly more pleasant experience. So bring the bolster across your mat about halfway, come up onto your knees, and you can step your right foot forward, okay? Just bring that bolster right in against your left knee, okay? And then just come forward into a low lunge, and you wedge that bolster in there. You can feel it's supporting you, taking some of the weight out of the leg. And you really shouldn't be on the kneecap, but rather above the kneecap there at the back. So it really shouldn't feel like too much pressure there. Okay, and when you find, come on up onto your thigh. Let the hips sink a little bit. Nice opening in the psoas. All right. Now if you still need to feel the floor beneath you, yeah, go ahead and do that. You know, have your blocks there to support you, or books or whatever you're using. All right. Good. Just in time to reset that timer. I nearly forgot. Okay. So if you're up here and you're feeling like you can take your hands away, take your clasped hands behind you and lift the chest again. Optional, okay? Let the hips sink and just feel your chest opening. And go ahead and move it around a little bit, okay? Or come here for a few moments and go back. All good. Let those hips sink. Feel the support of the bolster, or whatever you're using there. Take a breath in and feel the chest become more buoyant. Feel your inner body brighten. Nice and slow out. Soften as you exhale. Three more here. Two more. And the last one. Exhale. Release those hands. And we're just going to take a twist from here. So you can take your left hand onto a block on the inside of the right foot. Okay, and then put your right hand onto your right hip. You can open up the right foot, the front foot out to the side a little bit. Just gives you a bit more room to maneuver. And then take a wee twist there, looking back towards the back of the mat over your right shoulder. Let the hips sink. Good. Try not to dump too much into that left wrist. Try and keep a modicum of strength in your legs. Good. It's a tender balancing game. Feel the psoas opening in the front of the body there, at the hip flexors. Maybe even pointing down towards that back foot. Okay, and see as you're pointing at the back foot, perhaps you could start to lift the back foot up towards your hand or use a lasso to help you. So maybe lift it up. This is also optional. So you can just throw the belt around, and then bring it up like a tail. Good, sink the hips. Restart. Good stuff. Now let the hips sink. So we're working both the upper and lower body here. Just 2 more breaths here. And then exhale, release your tail and just take it back into a child's pose. You can use your bolster because you've been working very hard and take it in between your legs. Knees wide, heels in closer, and then you can just lie back down, head turned to one side. Take a few rounds of breath here before we go towards the second side. If any of you are finding it hard to really get this much flexion into the knees, believe me, I've been there. You can take your blanket and just fold it up behind the backs of the knees there, and that can give you a little bit more release, a little bit more ability to move or not move. Just practice bringing the floor a bit closer to you and be imaginative with the use of your props to support you as you need. And also if you've any low back issues, it may not feel quite comfortable to come down too low to the floor, so prop up, bring the head, bring the floor up, whatever you need. There's really very few wrong ways. The wrong way is causing yourself pain, okay? All right, let's take 2 more breaths here and we'll change it up and take the second side. When you're ready, come on up. I do like that. Okay, second side. Bolster across the mat again. Step the left foot forward and sink the hips. Okay. You can leave your hands on the blocks or climb up onto your thigh. And come back into your breath, knowing that it's not going to last forever. It might if I don't turn the timer on though. We could be here a long time. Don't worry, I have a clock. I gaze at it occasionally. All right. Nice and easy. All right, let's take her into a twist. Right hand this time to the floor or to a block. You can toe heel that left foot out to the side a wee bit and turn to look over towards the left. Left hand in by the crease of your hip. Turn to look over the shoulder. Let the hip sink. Maybe point down behind you. Five more here, and then we'll go out and find our tail. Okay, when you're ready, either take your strap, which could be quite a complicated affair, or go ahead and lift your back foot up towards you. You don't even have to be able to reach it, just, know that it's lifted, and you'll feel that in the front of the hip, that's fine. Otherwise, take a hold, lasso it, whatever you're going to do, and let the hip sink. Just take 3 more rounds here, please. You've got this. And then exhale it out. Nice and easy, release. Okay, so from here, just step it back. You're going to come into that child's pose again. Taking the knees wide, heels in close together. Go ahead and take a supported version. Take your head to the opposite side this time. Okay, 2 more here. And then we're going to move into a twist here. So what you're going to do is take the bolster over towards the right inner thigh, so it's at a bit more of a diagonal. And you're going to thread the left arm underneath the right. Turn to look towards the right, so that your head comes to rest on the bolster. Okay? And then you can stay here, or if you can take a little bit more, you can take your free arm, your top arm, into a half bind by lifting it up towards the sky, turning it away from you, and placing the back of the hand on your low back, lifting the arm away from the floor. Okay? It's a little bit awkward. No one said yin was, entirely relaxing. There is some work going on. And you can feel that around the top of your right shoulder, the front of the arm into the large intestine meridian there. And then also into the hand as it presses on the low back. And you may even be able to take a grip around your left thigh into the hip crease there also. So just play with that. Or you may prefer to take the hand up in between the shoulder blades. So just feel free to try different things, moving around, and then find softness. I know that can be a little bit of a tall task, but try and find softness. Find your sweet spot that you can stay in for a few minutes here. And you'll feel your body reacting to this pose, and that's perfectly okay. See if you can just listen and watch what's going on. See if you can come back to the breath. Keep encouraging that upper right arm bone to move back from the floor. 5 more breaths, please. You've got this. She says her voice starts to crack and break. Oh dear. And last one. Okay, let's just gently unwind that top arm. Gently press yourself up. Okay. So you just roll your shoulders once or twice. We're going to head straight into the second side. So you know what to do this time. Take that bolster at a diagonal along the inner left thigh and simply rethread the arms. Right arm underneath the left. Okay. And then top arm up and around behind you, taking your half bind. Finding softness. And just notice if one side feels differently to the other. And just a note for anybody there who's finding that's too low, go ahead and stack her up underneath the head part. Come up a little bit higher if you need to. Remember, just finding your way through modifying and adjusting to support yourself as much as possible. Moving the top of that left arm bone away from the floor. Not long. Five more rounds of breath. Use your ujjayi. I am healthy. I am strong. Last one. And then exhale, gently unwind out of the bind. Press yourself up. Good stuff. Now, coming into a nice quarter dog. From here, if you want to take a full downward facing dog and walk your dog legs out, go ahead. That can feel quite nice after hip or knee flexion for so long. Otherwise, coming onto your knees, you can just take your inner thighs together. Keep the hips stacked over your knees. Alright. And then extend your arms out in front. Alright. Just a little bit like puppy pose. Take your right elbow down onto the floor. Cross the left hand above the elbow. Taking the left elbow down as well. And sink the weight back. Alright. You can rest your head on your left forearm. And then from your right fingertips, see if you can just energetically draw in towards your spine. So gathering the energy in the arm, or just draw in towards the back of the heart and then soften. Anybody with any rotator cuff issues here, this pose may feel a little intense. Please come out of it and just go very, very gently if you need to. Okay, just take 2 more breaths here. And then release. We'll just take it over to the second side. So uncross the arms and take the right hand across above the left elbow. Sit back. Rest your head on forearm. Okay, 2 more here. And release it up. Good stuff. Now coming onto all fours, you're going to come to a seat. Take your bolster and pop it behind you. Okay, so, okay, that feels good. Do you feel a little bit more spacious in the shoulders, in the chest, and the upper back? It feels really nice. Let's work into that a little bit more. We're going to come into a seated position. Now we're going to modify here to mind our knees. No pain at all in the knees, please. We're going to take half saddle pose. So bend the right leg, the right knee, and bring it back. Now this can look a little bit like half hero pose in some people, or I prefer to take my lower leg out a little bit more astride my body there, so that I feel no pressure in the kneecap. Now, if you have any issues with the knee, if you can take a blanket behind the back of the knee just to support it, okay? So it doesn't feel like so much flexion, or take it out further, okay? So work with whatever is good in your body, and if nothing like that works, just avoid doing it. Instead, take it into half butterfly. All right? Mind your knees. You only have 2. Okay, if you're lucky. So what we're going to do is take our elbows back onto the bolster, and you can use the floor if you'd rather, and just lean back. Take the tailbone down there so that you feel comfortable in your low back. And then instead of just sitting into it and sinking into your shoulders, can you press your elbows into the bolster and lift the chest so that you feel this opening down the side of the body? Yeah? And then bring the sides of the neck. Try to avoid letting the head fall back and crunching into the cervical spine. That will just lead to problems down the road. But instead, have some modicum of control because you are strong. And see if you can bring the sides of the neck back and lift the chest. Take a breath in, shine out through the heart space. We won't stay here for too long. So just enjoying it. And if you want more sensation in the front of that right shin, keep moving the tailbone down towards the front of the room. Okay? And then press that right heel away from you also. And then find softness. keep an eye on this. Yeah, we only have another 5 breaths here, please. And then change it up, second side. So just easy does it come up. Take it out. Extend the leg, give it a little shake, a little rub, and take the second side. Might be easier this time. Okay, again, minding the knee. No pain, no pain, no pain. And then find your way back. Take the elbows in a little bit closer toward each other so that you can really lift the chest higher again this time. Sides of the neck back, lower earlobes back, that's it. So the back of the neck is long. So coming back to Ujjayi breath. Three more here, please. And then exhale, release. Bring yourself up to a seat. Well done. Okay, so this next one, we're going to take the blanket again, or if you're sitting on a pillow, go ahead and use that. And just fold it up so that you can support yourself. And we have a few different options here depending on you and how your hips are doing. So you can go into easy cross-legged position. Okay, this is the basic one. And if you're feeling a little tired, pop up under the thighs. Or you can take it into fire log, stacking one shin on top of the other. Or you can come into shoelace pose, okay? Shoelace pose is where we wrap one leg, the top right leg over the left, put this one. Seeing if we can stack one knee on top of the other or near as. And if one knee needs a little bit of support, go ahead and take that support. All right? Work with what you have. All right, so now you're in sleeping swan or easy cross-legged or fire log. You've got your right leg stacked on top. We're going to take some side flexion. So if you're sitting up really high, you're going to need to bring the ground up a little bit closer to you. So take a block onto the right side of the body and then bring the top arm up and overhead. Okay, so use whatever you have. And don't collapse into the right side of the rib cage. Keep both sides nice and long. Reaching over. Now, if your top arm is starting to get tired, go ahead and drape it over your head. Okay. Just 3 here. And then we're going to take a half bind again. So take that top arm before you lose all circulation in it. Turn the palm of the hand away from you and then bring it onto your low back. Okay? And then spin the chest up towards the sky and take it into this lovely opening across the chest. Keep supporting yourself with your free arm. You can start to feel that opening into the neck as well. And release. Okay, switch the legs. Now, so the opposite position, whatever you were in earlier. And then take the top arm up. Stretch it out. Relax the arm if it's getting heavy. And maybe take your half bind. So spin the back of the hand forward and then bring it behind you. And then exhale, just release out of that. So a lovely counter for this is a wide-legged straddle pose or dragonfly pose. So coming to sit with your legs wide apart, and I just like to pull the buttock flesh out behind me there so I feel more anchored to the floor. And if you tight hamstrings, pop something underneath your knees. And we're simply just going to fold here for a few moments. So folding a little bit or a lot. Use a bolster if the floor is very far away. See if you can find softness in the legs once more. So we just have a few minutes left in the practice, and I'd like you to spend them relaxing because you worked rather hard. So what we're going to do is bring you up. I'm going to take you into a really nice pose for the kidneys, and you're going to take it with a supported bolster behind you. Reclined butterfly pose, okay? So just taking the bolster lengthways there, sit facing away. And you can take a couple of blocks underneath your thighs, bending the knees, take them wide and take the soles of the feet together and simply drape yourself over. And just relax. You can also put something on your eyes. Okay, so whatever you need to feel supported, feel comfortable and relaxed, enough for you to take rest and really absorb the benefits of that practice. So you can allow your breath return to a natural rhythm if you were really working that ujjayi. And just notice how the body is feeling here in this position. You should feel comfort and supported. And just noticing that gentle hum in the body, telling you that chi is moving happily around. And like a healthy hive, all the jobs that need to be done are getting accomplished. All is well. You're healthy and you are strong. So feel free to stay here as long as you like, and otherwise if you have to think about moving, very, very slowly do it. Take the knees together and then just roll to your right side. And then when you're ready, just bring yourself very gently up to a seat. Gather your hands together at the heart space. Lift your heart as you inhale fully and deeply now. Exhale, releasing the practice. Knowing that you've done all you can to support yourself, your immune system, and really nurture yourself and care, and just practice self-care. So namaste. I'm looking forward to seeing you next time.